So the accounting equation, right? And we know this is just basically the balance sheet. Going back, right? The balance sheet is assets equals liabilities plus your equity. Where does equity come from? Statement of stock equals equity. So I like to think of the equation in this horizontal format, with stock equals equity having these, these two branches that come down. The value of the common stock and the value of retained earnings combined, right, create total stockholders' equity. And remember, retained earnings, assuming this is the first year of the business's in operation, it's just simply just going to be current year's revenue minus current year expenses, any dividends that we pay out. Dividends aren't expenses, right? They're dividends in themselves. They're paid out of the balance of retained earnings. If this is our first year of operations, then our retained earnings will, of course, just be revenue minus expenses, less any dividends. Certain things that are important, you can't move on in accounting if you don't understand the normal balances of certain accounts. Assets, by and large, have a normal balance of a debit. What does that mean? Normal balance. It is the side, whether left or right, or debit or credit, the side that we reflect an increase. So if you have an increase in an asset account, such as accounts receivable, cash, supplies, you're going to, when you go to make your entry, like here, and we'll hit on in this next slide, you will debit it, right? Liabilities, by and large, have normal credit balances. So when you go to make your journal entry, you would, if you have an increase in a liability, increase in a payable, any kind of debt, you would credit that. Stockholders' equity, by and large, has credit balances. Dividends, dividends are different because they pull from the retained earnings balance. Retained earnings has a credit balance. So if we are reducing retained earnings by paying a dividend, it would make sense that we would debit a dividend. And we will get to that in future slides. So every journal entry, must, balance our equation.